Senator Hinojosa, for what purpose?
Will Senator Middleton yield for a couple of questions?
Do you yield?
I do, thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Now, this bill came through Border Security.
It did, yes, yeah, and on the committee, correct.
And one of the issues that came up was that what we were looking at was an unbiased report. Is that correct?
We want to collect data, correct.
Yeah, so that for us to make any kind of decisions, whichever way the decision is made, we need to have accurate information.
Yes, we want all the information, absolutely.
And one of the points that was made during the hearing itself is that it does not necessarily exclude any positive impact, economic impact that the migrants may have. We're not excluding that in your bill, SB825.
So this seeks to establish costs, right? And those costs are related to a number of items laid out in the bill. Obviously, one of them is the financial impact, another one is environmental impact, the economic impact, but at the end of the day, it's very broad, so it allows the governor's office great authority to gather this information from various state agencies, various political subdivisions of the state, perhaps our federal partners. It leaves that largely up to them to collect that.
And when we talk about cost, you also need to talk about, okay, what are some of the benefits, if any?
Well, so that's where we disagree, Senator. I do not believe it's good policy on behalf of the state to pay for taxpayer-funded subsidies and studies to talk about the positive aspects of breaking the law. Where do we stop on that?
Well, it seems to
Where do
me
we stop?
you change in your testimony that you testified before the Border Security Committee. And all what we're asking was for an unbiased report. Either way, whichever way the results show, we're not trying to push any type of funding already. The governor can have a full discretion to file a report on what is happening as it relates to the impact that illegal migration may have here in the state.
Well, we want to make sure it's unbiased, of course, but everything we do around here is under the framework of following our laws, right? I mean, in our Constitution.
But I'm not asking that.
We can't go outside of that and say all of a sudden we're going to just start determining the positive aspects of acting like the things we pass in here are just suggestions. And if there's some positive aspect to it, then we need to look at that and treat it like a suggestion. It's not the right thing to do.
You know, Senator Middleton, we're trying to get a full, accurate picture. When you say that, it sort of distorts the purpose of this bill, because I supported this bill, and I think we need this type of information. But you have to give the discretion and the ability for the governor to be able to look at the whole picture. Whatever they need to look at to be able to ascertain exactly what decision we have to make as legislators to focus on our economy, to focus on our costs, healthcare, to focus on our whatever costs involved, education. So it is to get an accurate picture, and that's the testimony that we heard in the Border Security Committee. Nobody's trying to encourage anybody to break the law. That's not what we're talking about at all. We don't want anybody to break the law. All we're trying to see for us to get a clear picture of what's going on. And I think your bill does that, except that your testimony, as you answered Senator Gutierrez's questions, you sort of went a little bit more than the way you testified. Nobody supports breaking the law. Nobody wants anybody to break the law. But I think for us, as legislators, we need a very clear picture of what's going on out in the field. And that's all I'm saying. So don't go off on this other stuff that that doesn't mean anything about breaking the law. I, as a legislator, want to know exactly how much it's costing us. Right? When we talk about cost, you also need to you need to take the whole, you can't just look at one side of the ledger, you have to look at both sides of the ledger. So I would implore you that when you make your responses, stay within the framework of what you talked about and testified in Border Security Committee, and that is to give the governor the discretion of an unbiased report, so for us we could make informed decisions.
And it is a very broad discretion. You know, as you pointed out, it's a very broad broadly drafted piece of legislation to give the most discretion possible. So,
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator.